Hey, Boo Tube, let's see how many minutes. I got 15 minutes. I have been actually kind of late. I know, like, this week, all the DCCW shows have come back, have returned from their breaks. And, and I'm currently, right now, 3 episodes off from Arrow. And for Flash, Legends, and Supergirl, I still am missing 2 episodes for those 3 shows. Again, like I said, I'm missing 3 episodes of Arrow, being for Supergirl, Flash, and Legends, I'm missing episodes 8 and 9. Episode 8 for all 4 shows being the crossover, the 4-part crossover, and the episode 9s to all 4 shows were the mid-season finales. And the 3rd episode I'm missing from Arrow is episode 7, titled Thanksgiving. I have actually been very sick, and just sick in general. The reason why I'm talking a little louder is because I'm pretty sure you can't hear me in most of my videos, and also the fact that I'm being as quiet as possible right now, because I just got back, and it's like midnight. I've been sick, 2 different kind of sicknesses. I'm not going to get too much into that. My previous video actually touched a little bit on one of my sicknesses, but I'm not going to I'm going to get on to the video because literally I'm almost 2 minutes in. Arrow Season 6, Episode 7, titled Thanksgiving, which literally premiered on Thanksgiving, which I thought was perfect timing. I'm not gonna lie to you, but anyway, from what I remember, I literally took notes. See, I literally have a notepad opened up with all my notes, because I literally can't remember shit. Anyway, because it's been so long. Thanksgiving, from what I remember, Oliver and Felicity and William, Oliver's son William, and of course Quentin, they apparently organized this amazing thing, which I thought was pretty nice, considering it's a Thanksgiving episode. They organized a food drive, which I thought was amazing, mainly to raise money for the new Star City Police Department precinct, which I thought was pretty damn cool. But unfortunately, that got cut short a little bit because that evil FBI agent Watson, she comes out of nowhere and promptly arrests Oliver, in charge of vigilantism. I can't even pronounce it. Vigilantism, for being the Green Arrow. And since apparently the Green Arrow has been arrested, because remember, of course, Team Arrow knows that Oliver is Green Arrow, and of course Black Siren knows, obviously, but you know, the rest of the world doesn't really know that Oliver is Green Arrow. So, but James and Black Siren, they break out of prison, intent on pretty much causing chaos now that the Green Arrow has been arrested, right? And apparently, one of the chaos things they end up doing is they end up planting they claim to have planted a bomb at a stadium during a concert. John ends up getting, before that happens though, like, literally, before the whole bomb thing, there was a fight, which ended up John getting injured in the field. And remember, he was suited up as Green Arrow for Oliver because Oliver wanted to pretty much take a break from being Green Arrow in honor of his son. Because remember, he promised his son he wouldn't be vigilante anymore. So, you know, John has taken the mantle as Green Arrow, but he ends up getting injured on the field, which prompts Oliver to pretty much take up the suit again as Green Arrow, just probably temporarily because John can't because he got injured. And, of course, another thing that happened was Oliver's trial ends up getting delayed, which that apparently happens. I think that happens before John gets injured, from what I remember. But anyway, back to the bomb at the stadium. So apparently Black Siren and James apparently they claim to have planted a bomb, like I said, at a stadium during what seems to be a concert. And of course, Team Arrow is looking for any way to stop this supposed bomb, right? Only to find out that the bomb that Black Siren and James were like, oh, we planted a bomb at the concert, Team Arrow finds out pretty much that the bomb is not only is the bomb fake, but all the police officers that were apparently guarding the stadium during the concert, they're fake too. They're pretty much like more goons from James and Dinah, which I thought was, you know what that reminded me of? Like when I first saw that, what was that movie? I know for a fact it's one of the Christian Bale Batman movies. It was the one with Heath Ledger, right? Do you remember that scene where the cops are like using their, I forgot what it was called, but apparently there's like a hostage situation, you know, Joker and his goons got some hostages, and, you know, they're trying to find the hostages, set some of the hostages free, and rescue everybody. But we find out, like, later in the scene that apparently Joker and his men, they pretty much swapped places with the hostages, so basically, they, they pretty much dressed up the hostages to look like them, and then pretty much duct tape the guns to the hostages. So from an X-ray scan, or not X-ray scan, but like from far away, when the cops look at the people holding the guns, when they look at the hostages look like the bad guys, because, you know, they're wearing the clothes and they have the guns strapped to them, but pretty much the hostages were forced to wear the clothes and duct taped to the guns and everything, and then the real bad guys pretended to be the hostages and all that stuff. That's what it kind of reminded me of. Those fake cops that were guarding the concert, basically that's what it reminded me of. They're pretending to pretty much be the good guys, when in fact they're actually bad guys. But anyway, of course, naturally, their asses get kicked by Team Arrow. Mainly Dinah, Curtis, and Renee kick their butts. But unfortunately, during the whole scuffle, James and Black Siren end up escaping, which I'm not kind of surprised by, because, I mean, come on. Hang on, I'm 7 minutes in. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, I'm like halfway through. But anyway, I'm not surprised. Keep this in mind, like, James, he's a computer genius. Like, if you guys remember from the previous episode when we first meet James, he was apparently part of that one group that Felicity was, Felicity got mixed up in. Remember that group of computer hackers and all that stuff that Felicity befriended, that young woman? I forgot her name already. But she was a part of that group. They were kind of like hackers and everything, and Felicity, like, was helping them for one bit. They're the ones, he was a part of them, right? If I remember correctly, he was one of them, and he was, like, one of the best hackers and all that stuff in their group. Where the hell did my notes go? But anyway, so I'm not surprised that since, you know, he's such an amazing hacker and everything, that he's freaking brilliant, obviously. You have to be brilliant to be that good of to just be, like, a mediocre hacker. A lot of brains already. He's, like, the best in that group, so he has to be, like, super genius. But anyway, like, and Black Siren, she's gotten herself out of a lot of situations when it comes to Team Arrow when we first met her. I mean, come on. She got away with pretending to be Team Arrow's Dinah. She was like, yeah, I did die. I don't know what happened, but I was brought back to life. She pretended to be their Dinah, and she got away with it, like, for a good chunk of time in that episode, so she's pretty frickin' clever. You get frickin' clever and friggin' super genius together, they're gonna escape, come on. But anyway, like I said before, John did get injured in a previous scuffle. I was really worried, because remember, it looked like John was going through some drug use, and I was very worried about him, because apparently, like I said in a previous video, when we first see Diggle actually using drugs to help his arm, I did mention in that video that it looked like they're giving John Diggle, they're giving TV show, or John Diggle, of course I don't think there's a comic book version of him, but they're giving John Diggle comic book Roy Harper's storyline. And if you guys don't remember, I'm just going to do a brief touch on it. In the comic books, Roy Harper, in the comic books, had a drug problem. He was literally, like, just injecting himself all the time in the comic books. He had the drug problem in the comic books. And they did give a small hint to that in the show, Because if you guys remember, like, in the beginnings of Roy Harper and Thea Queen, you remember when Thea took Roy to the hospital and he had to get a shot? And remember he mentioned to Thea he doesn't like needles? That was actually technically an Easter egg to comic book Roy, because that's how comic book Roy would inject drugs into himself. That's how he became a druggie. He would inject himself with a needle with drugs. So they kind of touch base with that a little bit in the show by pretty much showing Roy's fear of needles. That's actually a little spoof to comic book Roy when, he would inject himself with drugs. But like I said, it looks like John's getting comic book Roy Harper's storyline in the mirror of, the drug use. Anyways, not anything else about comic book Roy, mainly just comic book Roy's drug use, injection wise, But anyway, Oliver visits John in the hospital because, his injury was so bad he ended up in the hospital. And he's all like, you know what? I will continue to be the Green Arrow only until you recover and you're like, well, not 100%, but you're recovered enough to the point where I could give back the Green Arrow mantle back to you, because it's yours now. I promised my son I wouldn't be Green Arrow anymore, and I even told Deathstroke, aka Slade, because remember, Slade's advice to Oliver was like, I messed up with my son, don't mess up with yours. Go be his father. Do not be a vigilante, be his father. Because look what happened to me with my own son, right? And so pretty much Oliver's trying to uphold that promise to both Slade and to William, which is why he passed on the mantle to John. So he's like, I'm going to continue being Green Arrow only until you recover, and then I'm going to give it back to you. Because that's your mantle now. It's not mine anymore, right? But anyway, amazing thing is I really thought something happened, because a doctor came in, and he's like, Mr. Queen, it's your sister. And I swear to freaking God, I was so scared, because remember, on the island, apparently, Thea was so injured that she ended up in a coma, and she's been in a coma since. And I was so effing scared when the doctor came in. It's like, it's your sister. I'm like, oh my God. Please, for the love of God, tell me she did not die. Right? Because I was like, it's like, please don't tell me she died already or she's dying, because that would just break my heart. But oh my God, Thanksgiving miracle. I was very surprised that they didn't kill her off, quite frankly. I'm not saying I want her to get killed off, but I was just surprised they didn't. Because, look what they did with Team Arrow's Dinah. They killed Black Canary. It's Black frickin' Canary, Everybody knows Black Canary. How many people know about the female Speedy in the comic books? And how many people know about the comic book Black Canary? Everybody knows Black Canary from the comic books. If you don't know who the fuck Black Canary is, something's wrong with you. But not many people know that there was, in fact, in the comic books, a female vigilante under the tutelage of Green Arrow who was actually Speedy. Granted, the one in the comics, her name was Mia, M-I-A. Her name was Mia Deirdre. But technicality, Thea is technically Mia, because hello, Mia Thea. But also, like I said, the comic book one, the comic book female Speedy, her name is Mia Deirdre. Thea's full legal name in the show is Thea Deirdre Queen. They literally gave Thea Mia's last name as a middle name. Coincidence? No. And the fact that she's a female Speedy, again, Thea is basically Arrow TV show's version of comic book Mia. Just saying. But anyway, Thea woke up from her coma on Thanksgiving Day and reunites with Oliver, Felicity, John, and William. And they're all thankful and they're like, Happy Thanksgiving. So I thought that was a really nice way to end the Thanksgiving episode on a good note. Thea woke up from her coma. Thank frickin' God. But, again, like I said, I'm worried about John, considering that it looks like they're giving comic book Roy Harper's drug usage and problem onto John. So I'm really, really, really quite worried about that. And by the way, question, what happened to John's wife? And what happened to his son? Because we haven't seen either of them for quite a while. So, I'm actually very curious about that. If you guys have a theory on what happened to John's wife and son, maybe John and his wife had problems and the wife left and took the son with him. I don't know. But if you have theories about what happened to those two, please by all means tell me in the comment section. And also in the comment section, tell me if you think that John will ever... Well, it looks like he will recover, but do you think that he will actually take up the mantle again? I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm running out of time, so